Hello and welcome back to Raging Loop. In the last episode, we finally made our way into the village via a route that is apparently acceptable to the customs of the people living there. By going alongside the journalists who we got to know at the very beginning of the game. We all know what happened to them afterwards. But yeah, we went into the village, and Rikako gave us our own house, where we can now theoretically rest and spend the night and bathe and do everything we have to do to not get murdered. Whether that will work, we'll see. Alright, anyway, I had my place. Now I had to get one for Mamiya and Hashimoto. Oh, interesting. I don't know if he's talked about this before, that he actually plans to not get them killed, which... very noble of him. I wouldn't have expected him to do that, but we'll see if it works. I tried to think of a way to encourage them to leave before the mist came, but all the things I could think of seemed unnatural. That meant my only option was the opposite, convincing them there was no way to leave, so they'd have to stay. Honestly, I did consider just letting them die. That's my protagonist. As long as I survived, I didn't really care if they did. But that didn't sit right with me. I wasn't a good guy, but not doing whatever I could right now seemed careless. My ultimate goal was to escape the loops, but at the moment all I could really do was prevent the tragedy before me. Also, surely he's thinking about the fact that if they're alive, that's two more other people that could be killed in the thing before him. Okay. I'd think of something else if it just didn't work out, but for now I had no reason to abandon my humanity. That was why I returned to the plaza. It was still really empty and the two journalists were probably working. This was my chance. I approached the left back wheel on Hashimoto's van. Reaching into my bag, I pulled out the hammer and nails I bought. I placed the tip of the nail against the tire and hammered it in. You could hear the sound of the air leaving. That had to be good enough. I then did the same with the other rear tire, as well as one of the front ones. There. After that, I added a random array of extra nails around those to make it look like a trap where something had been run over in the grass. They couldn't leave now. I already knew they didn't have anything that could fix the tires, and they couldn't get in touch with any road service until after the mists passed. If someone from Kami Fujiyoshi came to pick them up and they left without their car, that would have been fine too. Not that I expected anyone to come. Now I just had to convince them that they had to stay here. It was a really haphazard plan. It would seem like the locals trapped them on purpose. I'd have to think of something to say about that. Anyway, I did what I could for them. Now I just had to wait and... Usaishi. Oh, my heart almost burst out of my chest. Oh, what's the matter, Rikako? Oh, that name again. I'm sorry, what's wrong, Uematsu? I am hungry. I came to eat. That, huh? Well, I was pretty hungry myself, too. Wait, there was something more important to worry about. Had she seen me? This is a large car. It is. What the hell was up with this pressure? Was it some Kami Fujiyoshi head superpower? Was she waiting for me to confess or something? I had no choice but to think up a new lie. But looking at her red eyes made me feel like she'd see through any bullshit I spun. Crap. Maybe I should just come clean and... I am hungry. Was she actually not thinking anything? What do you think I was doing here? Huh? Searching for wood lice? Did you think I was as old as Mako? No, look, here, it's flat. Oh dear. See, it's got this inside. So long and thick. And look how deep this is. Oh dear, how forceful. Right, okay, yep, hi. The brown-haired man is taking Uematsu in broad daylight. Oh. And what the hell was with her appearances this time around? Okay, yeah, I couldn't lie. This conversation was pretty messed up. That's an outrageous misunderstanding. I'll go call for the journalists. What? You gotta be kidding me. Hisako was completely perplexed. No, this is troubling. I still couldn't read his expression, but I could totally sympathize with someone being basically stranded in a place like this. How unfortunate. They weren't suspicious of me, so I just acted like an innocent, sympathetic bystander. Oh, the heartache. We were supposed to head back tonight. What are we going to do? Do you have any plans? I'm fine, but what about you? My daughter's birthday is close. Oh, Nami. Ow, the heartache. I had no idea he had a daughter, or was married for that matter. The fact that it had come as a surprise just made my pain worse. But I shouldn't feel guilty about this. If I'd just ignored them, they'd have been torn apart by a monster. Oh my, what do we do? Yasumizu has no cars in the first place. Mosato might have something useful. Those words made me twitch. These tires are special, so that would be difficult. We do have a single spare, but... Let's contact road service. Oribe, may we use the phone? Yes, of course. Right this way. They all returned to the dining hall. I have a bad feeling about this. I was left alone with a peculiar duo, but then we were joined by a muscly silhouette who'd come from the fields. What are you doing, Oba? Uematsu, and who are you? This is Haruaki Fusaishi. She went out of her way to introduce me, though she still couldn't leave off the donor face. Yeah, whatever. I'm moving here. I hope we get along. Oh, you're the guy, huh? I'm Takumi Muro. A pleasure. You don't look like you're from Kamifujiyoshi. An outsider, then. Rare. Sorry you ended up here. They really had to do something about their habit of showing sympathy for anyone who came here. Yes, I came here from the city. I'm sorry I'm so suspicious and flashy. I'll re-dye my hair. Alright. That would be good. Well, she hates that sort of thing. I don't really care, though. I care more about something else. As in? If you're useful in the field. Unlike Kamifujiyoshi, Yasumizu doesn't abandon its people, but we don't have room for those who can't earn their keep. While mentioning Kamifujiyoshi, he glanced at Uematsu. Well, you look like you have the build for it. You can start by mowing the grass around the upper fields. But I was told to work at the dining hall. What? You're working with Kaori? Crap, I messed up. Takumi, you're a fine man. Just tell her how you feel. What do you mean? I'm not thinking anything that outrageous. But she supports 2 grown sons and feeds everyone through her frail arms. I'm gonna kill any guy that tries to take advantage of her. That was plenty outrageous. Hey, what did you do to get her to take you? Spill it. It took a lot of effort to keep myself from lying and fueling the fire. Oh, Higuchi from Kamifujiyoshi, right? He sent me to work with her. Takumi became apathetic. Oh, I guess that's fine then. I'll try to become able to work outside too. That's great and all, but for now, just watch. If we made you do too much, they might get on our cases about it. Huh? They care about what kind of work people do here? They don't, they just want to be sure we listen to them. So, what are you all up to? Where's Kaori? The journalist's car broke, so she went to make a call. Huh? That's pretty bad. Can they leave? It's best to assume they won't have it fixed today. Awful. This was getting nowhere. Do you have any open rooms? That house was the only one I could give. Uematsu, you gave Gen's house to him? Yes, houses die if people do not live in them. Take care of that house, will you? A good person used to live there. Of course. Don't you dare use it as the place where you take advantage of Uematsu. That cannot happen to her, understand? Huh? What? You two are like that? It's a complete misunderstanding, but it seems to keep being taken as fact. I'd appreciate if it wasn't. We went off on a tangent. What do we do? I'd have liked it if I, the newbie, didn't have to be the one making this conversation progress. I really don't think it's good if outsiders stay in Yasumizu. Neither side would like it. Bah, you got any free houses? The one I gave Meiko was the last one. The rest had holes or didn't have walls. You can't even shelter in those. Liar, there was room in the dorm. Oh. You sure slept for long. Go how about the old man? Oh, sorry. I got in the habit of sleeping in while I was away. By the way, Tai, there's one free room in the dorm. You know the place was built by Yoshimitsu. He worked hard negotiating with the 4 families to get it built. He said he wanted for at least the children here to live in nice places closer to Kamifujiyoshi. And that's why he had the concrete stairs built on the hill and... He started talking about the past again. Well, Kozashi, you see what kind of place Yasumizu is. I already knew. Anyway, I hope they can fix the car. This was bad. Just as expected, the road service would take a long time to get here. They'd be here sometime in the middle of the night if they tried to come right away. The mountain road was even more dangerous at night, so they agreed on the service coming in the early morning, which led us back to the talks about where they'd stay. Though by the time that discussion was over, Yamawaki, who was done talking, had left. He really gave us outsiders the cold shoulder, huh? Takumi tried suggesting they stay in their van, and I was surprised to hear they were receptive to the idea. Them being a man and a woman was one thing, but I was more concerned if that van had enough space for someone that huge and another person to lie down. Still, it looked like they were about to agree to just leave it at that, but that was no good. They wouldn't survive the night like that. So far, the only people I hadn't met were the students who were in school, Kanzo Makishima, who was out hunting since morning, and the old man who cried wolf. Since I'd met just about everyone, I chose to take my leave. It wouldn't have been natural if I tried to talk them out of that. I had to get places for them, but my only option was one I didn't have much faith in. Anyway, doorbell. Oh, you're the new one. What do you want? There's a problem that I think only a village head can solve. While I don't mind the sentiment, you can knock off the awkward flattery. Why not act more like yourself? Was my politeness that insincere? Sorry, now about what I came here for. Is it true that the mists are coming soon? The effect my words had on Kiyonosuke was impressive. He tried to act calm, but his wandering eyes made it clear he wasn't. What? Who told you about that? Who mentioned that superstition to you right when you just got here? Uematsu. He fell silent. The guy was easy to read. Someone else told me about the mists themselves, though. The one who sent me here was Shoji Higuchi. Oh, Shoji. He's 1 year younger than me. What did he say? I might have misheard it, but he said that there might be mists soon. There was no truth to my words, but they would become true when the mists came. But Uematsu said there's something that must be done if the mists come. There are people who are stuck here because their van has flat tires. I'm wondering what they should do. Oh, that's news to me. How troublesome. It is. What do you think? Early summer mists here in Yasumizu happen only every decade or two. Decade or two? Well, it wouldn't be impossible for them to appear now, but I don't think I saw signs of it happening anytime soon. I see. By the way, what's so dangerous about it? Everyone seems so tense. When the mists come to Yasumizu, someone always dies. Was that an okay thing to say? Oh, don't misunderstand. The mists you get here are far more dense than any you know. I hear they make you as good as blind. I knew that, but yeah, I couldn't have imagined mists that dense unless I saw them for myself. That's why the people here were taught to stay indoors whenever that happened, but you have fools who still go outside and fall to their deaths or something. I see. Did you see the destroyed construction site not far from here? That was a project run by my family, but it ended when the mists led to on-site deaths. Seriously, they could have pulled out sooner, but the overseer was too strict. I felt stupid for ever considering crazy theories about some Saranaga illness. That mist was dangerous in and of itself, and that made for a good official reason to stay indoors when it came. He seemed to believe the official reason and thought it wouldn't kill him. If he actually knew about the true dangers lurking in the mist, he'd do everything he could to leave Yasumizu. He was from a head family, but he didn't seem to know all the secrets. She, on the other hand, must have known something. I'd love to find out more, but... Hold on. He just told me something weird. The mists led to on-site deaths. Did you see the aftermath of the landslide uphill? It's been like that ever since the Nosato got to work on the place 8 years ago and it collapsed. They were too freaked out to even clean it up. I ended up digging out the workers' corpses and burying them. I was told that Takumi buried the bodies. But if it happened in the mist during a feast of the Yomi Purge, didn't that mean he should have been present during the feast? From what I could tell, last time the mist scared the people here and drove them to panic. Kanzo Makishima hadn't reacted like that, while the old wolf guy had said that wolves were coming. It was likely they'd experienced the feast before. But I didn't know what had happened to the other people, or what I'd even do with that information. One thing I could say was that the survivors either killed or silently approved of killing people. Chiemi could be one of them, and so could the students. Even if I couldn't connect all of the dots, it was entirely possible. I had to keep myself together. I had many things to think about later, but for now I had a goal to complete. And yet the people at the main house. Say, Nosato. You said that construction site is yours, right? Right, what of it? Is that prefab usable? Or what? I just thought that it would be a better place for the troubled outsiders to stay at. After thinking for a moment, Kyonosuke returned inside. I'd expected him to say something like, why would I, a village head, sully my hands with Yasumizu's problems, or something, so this came as a surprise. Kyonosuke came back shortly. This should be it. The previous head of the family brought it here after the incident, and just as I'd expected, it was in the key box. Thank you very much. Wait, I didn't say I'd give it to you. In fact, why would I, a village head, sully my hands with Yasumizu's problems? And there it was. You have a point. I'm sorry. I'm joking. I didn't say I wouldn't give it either. Oh, what a pain in the ass. Unlike Muro or Serizawa, you seem to know how to behave around the heads. Yasumizu inhabitants or not, I value such people. We village heads are responsible for maintaining order in Fujiyoshi. Thank you very much. Oh, so he believed in the concept of noblesse oblige. Shame he didn't have the ability for it. I do feel like he's at heart, like at his core, a good person. He might not show it. He might be very hard to deal with for some, but I don't think he's a bad person. First, I had to check if the place was even usable. The equipment and materials were all gone. The only thing of note here was the sink on the wall. The flooring was cold and a bit sandy. But with a bit of cleaning and a futon, it could be a decent living space. There was no running water, but if we placed a water bucket here, whoever was living here could easily wash themselves. Okay, do I have 3 and 20? I don't think I do. Wait, where are my keys? Pretty sure... Oh, I don't have 3. I do have 20 though, don't I? No, I don't have that either. Alright. Return to the dining hall it is. I now had 1 empty living space. Getting the dorm room, was even harder. I didn't even think I could force it at this stage. However, it was still a better option than just wandering around looking for alternatives that may not even exist. This would be a real waste of time if it didn't end up saving them. I wasn't about to stop trying though, it was still just a bit afternoon. Honestly, I was a bit hungry. But there was a strange, powerful reek coming from the dining hall. I had no idea what could have caused this. Was it the toilet? No. It's more along the lines of rot, animal rot at that. Did someone already die? My memories made me forget the situation was still peaceful, and I dashed. Suddenly, a dense wall rose up before me. What? I was pushed away. I spaced out for a moment, but then I realized I'd bumped into the local hunter, Kanzo Makishima. You're the one, eh? This was the first time I'd seen him hold his gun in his hands, but I was even more troubled by his face. I was pretty sure I'd seen Old Lady Tai wear something similar the first time. All that had happened later made me forget about it, but man, was it weird. Sorry, there was a weird smell, so I was wondering if everything's okay. Shishinare. Huh? That's Shishinare boiling. They're feeding the journalists. Oh yeah, Hisako was here to eat something strange. Be careful, boy. Alright, may I have your name? Makishima. And he left. The bundle he had in his left hand told me he'd only been here to get his lunch. He was as tough as I remembered. That chest made it hard to believe how old he was. What a hunk of a man. That thought made me seem like some love-struck teen girl. Anyway, that cleared things up. The smell was caused by cooking. I gathered my resolve and went inside. I mean, if the cooking smells like rotting animals, then I'm not sure I would want to have a try. Oh, where were you? I had things for you to do. Kaori glared at me a bit. Crap, I'd have to make up for the points I'd lost. Sorry, I had business with Nosato. Business with him? Did Higuchi tell you to give him a message? No, Mamiya Hashimoto. Can I have a moment? Besides the one in charge here and that sleepyhead, you also had the journalists who were busy taking photos and jotting down notes. I was impressed by their professionalism, being able to get back to work right after the problem was solved, although it actually wasn't. Sorry to bother you while you're working. Nosato said that it's not good to spend a night in the van and gave me the key to the prefab. Oh. What? That block? Nosato said that? Well, it was nice to find out how she usually called him. Apparently there's one more room too, so why don't you ask if they can open that so you can spend the night under a roof? I appreciate the sentiment, but I don't want to force anyone to give me a room. Of course she didn't. That was the normal thing to think. Kaori, we really should open the dorm. Losing to Nosato would bring shame to Yasumizu. I won't say anything about that, but yes, even if there aren't any bad people here, I don't feel good about letting a young lady sleep in a car. Kaori, can we have lunch? And the most important person around joined the scene. What? Nosato gave me a key. It's for the prefab, but still. Now, one of them can rest with a roof over their heads. Oh, that's... I wasn't explicit about it, but she instantly understood what I was getting at. But that place is... I don't mind having a new neighbor. By the way, what kind of place is the dorm anyway? That is the place for the children who will soon leave Yasumizu. To live in Yasumizu means to be a part of Yasumizu for the rest of your life, but that doesn't apply to the children. That makes it the only special place here, and the people of Kami Fujiyoshi silently agree. Oh. So this was just another way Kami Fujiyoshi exerted power over Yasumizu. I could understand why they didn't want to mess with it, but I knew from experience that it wasn't an insurmountable obstacle. They'd open it up for an emergency, but tomorrow would be too late. And I didn't really have a good way to convince them that this was indeed an emergency. It's fine, I'm used to sleeping in a car. You can use the prefab, Hashimoto. That car is more than enough for just me. Not to mention you're the one doing all the driving. Shouldn't it be the other way around? We're talking about the prefab uphill, aren't we? I'm not sure I want to let a woman sleep there. As we pondered... Excuse me. Hashimoto actually spoke up and walked up to Tai. Can I help you? If you have a proper room, could you please open it up for her? She is a tough lady who can handle work in this field, but she is still unmarried. As her partner, I don't want her to do anything she shouldn't have to. I will thank you in whatever way I can, so please. He bowed. His large body bent in two, but Tai still had to look up at him. I understand, but... Oh, Tai was on the verge of giving in. Hey, Fuzashi, so you came back, huh? Why were you out when Kaori was making food? You've got some nerve leaving when she needed your help. Oh, Takumi, perfect timing. Huh? What? Perfect timing indeed. He was the best person to convince Tai. And in the end, she agreed. The word unmarried meant a lot to her, apparently. She seemed to become more considerate of Mamiya after that. One of the reasons for this victory was the pressure emitted by Hashimoto's massive presence, and the other was the fact he presented a reason that resonated with her. And then Takumi joined the scene and gave her the final push. This wasn't exclusive to Yasumizu, but finding a compromise in a community without common interests was really difficult. It was especially hard when you couldn't give proper reasons for your words. They'd started to suspect I was a slacker, but I said that I was called by Nosoto, and though it surprised them, they believed me. As a result, I had to make up a story about how he was shy but actually considerate of everyone, which was why he'd called me. After all, I couldn't let them think I'd decided this by myself. After we got the key from Tai, the two journalists and I left the dining hall to prepare our living spaces. The dorm room was clean to begin with. There was gas, water, and a futon, exactly like I remembered it. The house I'd be staying at was clean too. All I had to do was get a futon from the dining hall and fill the pail with water. The prefab, though, took a while to clean. Takumi brought the cleaner pieces of tatami from the abandoned shacks here, which made it a relatively livable space. Well, if we're staying here, we might as well experience the local daily life. Shame I won't be able to make an article out of it. They seemed to be satisfied with that reason. I hope we can work in a safer place next time. Sorry, most of my gigs are like this, aren't they? Oh, but this is better for me. I have insurance and it's far safer than a war zone. He'd been in such places? He did more legwork than his looks would have you believe. But you are a woman, Q. I keep telling you not to mention that. There are no genders while we're working. Sadly, dangerous places are riskier for women than men. Well, you know, I can't get any better jobs or a man. It's rough, huh? Their relationship was just that of good business partners. Mamiya was a passionate journalist, while Hashimoto was a senior who was worried about her and helped her out. There was a decent balance here. That's unexpected. You're good looking, so I figured you'd be more popular. Flattery won't get you anywhere. Oh, believe me, if I was less pathetic, I'd have gone for you without hesitation. What an honor. How old are you, by the way? 24. And I'm about to enter my 30s. I'd feel really bad. Oh, come on. Unmarried 30-year-olds weren't rare in this day and age, though I preferred women who were a bit more bothersome. What's this tub? Ah, it's to clean your body. We'll only be here for a day. I was told it's a custom here. Can you tell us more? Alright, this was a good chance to share some info with them. Presenting it as info I heard from Uematsu and Kyonosuke, I told them about what had to be done when the mists came. I couldn't sound too knowledgeable though, since I was a newbie here, but I was able to imply that there was a supernatural danger involved. Mamiya was extremely intrigued and quickly asked for extra info, like the stuff about the 4 head families. I did my best to mention only what I'd found out this time around, but I couldn't help worrying that I would say too much. Interesting. That's so Shinto-like though. I wonder how it was passed on. Strange Tori, families with guardians to their names, accustomed to cleanse only when the mists come. They don't seem too hospitable to guests though. What a mystery. How did such unique customs survive in such a remote farming village? Was it even more peculiar back in the day? It really does look like this is your calling, Q. Oh, apologies. Anyway, we have places to sleep in and know what to do if the mists come. Let's get back to work. You're satisfied with the dorm, right? Then I'll use this place. If you want, you can use the cabin downhill. This prefab is pretty cramped. Don't worry, I can sleep anywhere. And you're going to live here, aren't you? You should get used to your new home as quickly as possible. He had a point. Also, I'd borrowed the place from Uematsu. I didn't have the right to let just anyone use it. It's a typing error. Someone messed up. Alright, we're agreeing with Hashimoto. For now. Alright, sorry about that. Don't be. We should be thanking you. You did a lot for us, didn't you? Huh? That Nosato person didn't seem like the considerate type. I could only guess that you got him to help. Oh, you're giving me too much credit. This girl tends to push herself too hard. Thank you for caring for her where I couldn't. Hey, you're only a dozen years older than me. Don't act like my dad. There was something about him that bothered me. Anyway, with that done, I figured I'd spend my remaining time trying to rub elbows with the rest of Yasumizu. Though I already had a job here, I had to make up for not helping out at the dining hall before noon. But you can't work on an empty stomach. Kaori gave me a bowl. For some reason, her smile seemed a bit warped. It probably wasn't on purpose, though. It was just the effect of the smell. No, the miasma coming from the food she gave me. It was just that powerful. Are you upset about something? Huh? No. Why would you think that? I couldn't feel any anger in her voice or expression, but being new here, I couldn't understand the mentality of someone trying to present something like this as food. As I twitched in fear that this was punishment for slacking off, Kaori suddenly gave me a full smile. Oh, it's the smell, isn't it? This is shishinare. It's like this because of a traditional technique to keep game meat fresh. I see. So this was the infamous dish made of fermented game meat. The nare part of the name had to refer to long fermentation, just like in narezushi, or fermented sushi. I had no clue how they gave it such a strong smell though. Did they reuse the same marinade for decades? Like with the salt they used for sun-dried mackerel? They used to eat it raw before, but they eventually found out it's dangerous, and now we boil it or use it in stews or soups. It used to be a celebrated dish here, and this is what's left from what I made for the journalists. Please consider it my way of welcoming you. Okay, I had to steel myself. I actually had a soft spot for strange delicacies. I tried sun-dried mackerel and any other weird foods I could get my hands on. No way could I refuse this. I mean, I've been eating Yasumizu's food since I was a little girl. Would eating this turn me into a zombie or something? No, I would prove that idea wrong. Thank you. I picked up the bowl and the chopsticks. Brown rice covered in a ton of crumbled bits of meat. The soup stock seemed as light as what they used in Kami Fujiyoshi, but I didn't know what to think of the meat's color. What was up with this greasy, shiny green surface? The reek attacked my nose once again. Damn it. Couldn't back out now. Gathering my resolve, I quickly put some stock, rice, and meat into my mouth. What? Was it good? I really couldn't tell. I had absolutely no idea what I was eating here. The texture, the sensation on the tongue, everything was new to me. The taste was extremely acidic, salty, and rich in animal protein. But that weird smell smothered most of it, forcing me to continuously convince myself that I was eating something good. I felt like my body would reject it all if I didn't. Holding the aversion at bay, I somehow swallowed it. The aftertaste was better than I expected, but as the reek faded, it made way for a strong beastly smell. Yeah, in a way, this taste was an exciting form of entertainment by itself. Oh my, you're such a good eater. I could get used to this. Yes, I understand what you mean. I didn't know what to think of it when I first came here, but now I sometimes even crave it. I wasn't lying, it really did seem like a taste I could get used to. It was hard to honestly call it good, but at least it did feel nutritious. As reciting a prayer, I repeatedly tried to convince myself of that as I emptied the bowl I was given. Oof. Thank you for the meal. You're welcome. So I'd finally eaten something from Yasumizu. Did that mean I was a true local now? Or a Yomibito? Whatever. As long as I could go back to square one, I would explore all the options I had available. Rhythmic cutting sounds were reaching my ears. As Kaori began preparing food in the kitchen, I did the work assigned to me. I had to repair the numerous cracked and broken dishes they had here. Apparently they couldn't afford anything new, so they opted to take what was thrown out in Kami Fujiyoshi and repair it into something usable. Is there no end to how pitiful things were here? The broken plates and cups were all wrapped in old newspaper, and all I had to do was unwrap them and put them back together. It was actually kind of fun, sort of like a jigsaw puzzle, but man, there were a lot of them. I'd have to do this for entire boxes full of broken tableware. I did wonder whether they actually needed so much, but apparently they just barely had enough, so they wanted to have some spares. I used some all-purpose glue from a 100 yen shop. They'd bought it from a nearby town. Kaori laughed about it, saying, "We get far more value out of this than a 100 yen bowl," and I just about cried. It was a strange mix of modern frugality and the poverty of ancient times, and it exemplified just how weird Yasumizu really was. As I worked, I realized that many of the plates and cups had a familiar symbol on them. What kind of mark is this? I asked Kaori over the counter. Oh, that's the crest of the watering hole family. The Higuchi. I was about to mention the name, but then I realized that Kaori probably didn't have good memories of them. I'd heard that examining these crests helped understand the lineages and the like, but I had no knowledge necessary for this. Do the other hat families have crests too? Yes, I like the Nosato one. It's cute. Cute? From what I recall, the Nosato family was the crow. Did it have a bird on it or something? Uematsu was the spider, Nosato was the crow, Higuchi was the monkey, and Miguruma was the snake. They worshipped a mountain and these guardians. It was significant not only for Fujiyoshi's culture, but the feast of the Yomi Purge as well. If memory served, Jimmy had told me last time that whether you had a guardian or not was relayed by a mark of blood on your skin. Waking up to find blood on your body was something straight out of a horror movie. Didn't the wolves and Haru say it was done through dreams? If that was true, I'd be at a loss. It would be an actual supernatural phenomenon. Still, were wolves and humans informed differently? This was something I'd have to look into starting tomorrow. Where can I see the other crests? You can probably find the Nosatos in the Nosato mansion, but the others? Oh, the accessory on Uematsu's chest is based on her crest. That thing, huh? I'd thought it was kind of weird looking. I'll try looking for them. I wouldn't want to disrespect them out of ignorance. You might be right. I'll tell you if I find something. Please do. I continued working as we talked. There was a small ancient TV here. Apparently you could get public broadcasting here, but not much else. That was probably enough for everyone to gather here and have dinner while watching something. I was told that all the dorm rooms had TVs too. That had to be another way they pampered the children who'd eventually leave this place. It strongly demonstrated how much of an exception the dorm was for Yasumizu. My eldest lives in the dorm and always tells me what happened in yesterday's shows. We can only turn this on at night, you see. Normally, giving TVs to the younger generations would be a sign of luxury, but it was the other way around here. The children went to school in Kami Fujiyoshi, but they never went anywhere beyond that and just went straight home, and Kami Fujiyoshi was secluded to begin with. That was why they prioritized giving TVs to the children, to let them know what was happening outside the village and to help them learn modern Japanese culture. Apparently they also covered their electricity and gas bills. They had to be frugal, but they didn't mind supporting the children's access to TV. Chiemi was the first Yasumizu child to make it to college, and Yasunaga was expected to follow her footsteps. Basically, they thought if they supported the young ones and helped them become prominent figures in society, the money they'd send back would make life easier for those who stayed here. I honestly hope Yasunaga is able to live freely, unhindered by his roots here. As you can see, my second son has some flaws, so I have to keep him close. But my eldest is, if you don't mind me bragging, simply excellent. My late husband was clever too, but had an intense nature. It seems like those two qualities were split between my sons. I do feel guilty that I couldn't give birth to two clever boys. What an insult. Birthing the second was so difficult that both of us almost died. Did he come out like that because I tried too hard at the time? Kaori was pretty talkative about this. I knew I was a stranger and she had to introduce Yasumizu to me, but this was a bit too much if you asked me. That was probably a sign of just how helpless she felt right now. Maybe Takumi should just propose to her and lighten the Oribe's burden. Marrying a widow with sons in middle to high school was difficult, and I could only assume that was his main issue. Feeling a bit conflicted, I glanced at the cheap alarm clock on the TV. It was 3 PM. Any minute now. We're back. Huh? Don't know this guy. There, the high schoolers were back. Welcome back. This is Fusaishi. He suddenly moved here to Yasumizu. Let's get along. No, this is unexpected. I'm Yasunaga Oribe. Kaori-san's son, right? She told me about you. What did you tell him exactly? Get along with my good-for-nothing son. Oh man. Oh, this is Chikamochi Kamoshida, and that's Haru Makushima. Call me Mochi. Give me a life. Nope. Hey, Mochi, what's that? Is he one of those cool guys? He scares me. Yasun probably has a better face and personality than him. Can we win against him? Sure he can. I challenge you to a duel. What? Wait, I'm your opponent here. Alright, let's go. Which one of us can go the longest with... Okay, sure. Sure, you know I'm trying my hardest to hold it in. I'm at my limit too, actually. Okay. We both had to forfeit. You two sure get along. Again, this is Haru. Nice to meet you. Yeah, you have a unique fashion sense. That's probably not what you should say as your, first sentence to someone. Got a problem with it? I got it all at a 100 yen shop in Kashihara at the end of last year. That was just sad. It was something I'd expect from an elementary schooler. No, it's good. Again, let's get along. He's trying to flirt with me. I'm scared. I really don't think he is. Man, Haru is distrustful of me even without the misunderstandings regarding Chiemi and I. Perhaps there really were people you just couldn't get along with. Sad. Yo, you fixed so many bowls and cups. We were supposed to do that. Sorry to trouble you with it. That's fine. I had fun and there's still plenty left. Yasunaga, leave him be and go review your lessons. Oh, right. I'm going to the dorm then. Let's have our duel another time. Then I'll be going now. The high schoolers left. Have you met everyone here in Yasumizu by this point? I guess so. There was one exception though. Oh, sorry, that was a bit of a rude response. 1, 2, 3. Journalists included, I met 14. Huh? 1, 2... Oh, but if we don't include you, there should be 15. Suddenly, as if rehearsed, the final person appeared. Ah, perfect timing. This is the old man of Yasumizu. No one knew his name, did they? Hello. Like always, it was hard to tell whether he was listening or not. I'll be living here from now on. Pleasure to meet you. Coming. There it was, his shtick. Huh? What? He beckoned me closer. I carefully brought my ear to his mouth. Way back. The wolf is coming? Oh, you surprised me. I evaded the potential damage to my eardrums. I had no idea what he was thinking, but he was grinning. Hungry. Please wait, I'll make you an onigiri. This might have actually been the first time I saw him properly communicate with someone. Once given the onigiri, he quickly munched it all up, leaving a big mess and just staggered out. According to Kaori, he'd always been a part of the whole Yasumizu package. He seemed to have something wrong with his head and tended to cause trouble here. Always a part, eh? Would it be wrong to assume he'd experienced something that made him go insane? At the very least, his catchphrase about wolves coming gave me that impression. He'd experienced the feast once, and the fear made the boy who cried wolf become the old man who cried wolf. Perhaps he'd even seen that thing. I'd love to hear what he had to say, but that seemed difficult. Is that everyone? Seems so. I was glad to have heard so much from Kaori, but I would have liked to talk to the young ones more. Jimmy too. Was it possible for me to forge a proper relationship with her starting tomorrow? Well, we're gonna find out next time. For now, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Till then, bye bye.